In this video, we'll explore the different commands that can be used in the command line interface that will give you tons of information about your network. We've already seen that you can use the CLI to perform tasks on your own computer. You can display, move, and copy files and folders and see the programs that are running. But there's more capabilities of the CLI that deal with extending to other computers and other networks. There's a ton of information about your network that can be displayed using commands in the CLI. How about we check out a few? Before checking out other networks, let's see what we can find out about our own. The commands vary a bit depending on whether you're using a Windows, a Mac, or a Linux computer. Ifconfig is typically used on Windows systems, while Ifconfig is used on Macs and Linux computers. This command displays the network settings of all network adapters on your computer. It can be used to ensure that your network is up and running. You can also enable or disable a device, although you'll need super user or admin permissions. Let's take a look at this and decode what is shown here just a bit. You don't need to be an expert in what is displayed, but rather just know that these important settings can be accessed using this command. This is one way to use the ifconfig command. The -A that follows will display information on all network adapters, which are components that connect a computer to a computer network. You can also just choose one adapter if you don't want all of the information shown. You would do this by typing ifconfig and then the name of the adapter. So instead of the -A, you could type ifconfig ETH0 or ifconfig LO. We're just going to look at the ETH0, which is the Ethernet card. So here we typed in ifconfig ETH0 to just view the Ethernet adapter. This shows the device and the hardware address. Every hardware device connected to the computer has a unique address. If your computer has multiple network adapters, for example, an Ethernet adapter and a wireless adapter, each adapter has its own address. Here you can see the device's IP address and other addresses like a broadcast address and a network mask address. The word up means that this device is active. The other words shown denote the capabilities of the device, like it's able to broadcast and it's ready to accept data, etc. These lines show the number of packets received and transmitted, and then also if there are any collisions, which could be a sign of network congestion. Lastly, it shows the data that has passed through the device. That's a lot of information, which could be very valuable for a system administrator or network engineer. Viewing all of the network settings is nice, but we want to be able to change and modify them as well. The commands netsh and network setup are used in a lot of different ways to do this. Let's take a look at an example of what can be changed. Let's take a look at a few things we can do with the network setup. So first we can type in list network service order as a formatting option, and it will list all of your network services. There's also a command that will enable us to rename these. Let's take a look. So we're going to rename the network service. Let's rename Wi-Fi, and let's rename it to Wi-Fi. Now, if we list our network services again, you can see that that name has changed. There's a lot else that can be done, but that's just one example. So now that we know a bit about our own network settings, let's see how we can connect to other networks. These two commands, nbstat and netstat, again, depending on which operating system you're using, will display all connections and listening ports. What this means is that it basically lists all the ways that you can connect to other networks. It can also be used to display a routing table, which is a list of specific routing destinations. When your router receives a data packet, it uses this table to know where to send that data. A routing table is essentially a map for the router. This is an example of all active internet connections on a system. The state of the connection is whether it is listening for incoming connections, has been closed, or has an established and working connection. The trace route command is a pretty cool one. What you can do with this is follow your data packets along the route of your internet request. You'll be able to see all of the different hops that were used and how long each took. The ping command is used to verify that a host is reachable by sending data packets to another destination and then waiting for a response. Once you stop the ping, you can view the statistics of how many packets went through and how many were lost. Path ping is very similar, but combines the previous tracer command with this new ping capability. Not only will it trace the route of a data packet, but it will also send pings to teach its reachability. It is used to locate spots that have network delays and network loss. All right, now it's your turn to dive deeper and explore more about these concepts.